Cover story tonight. It's election day in Russia for the next president, who is most likely to be the incumbent, meaning Vladimir Putin. He's eyeing another term, his fourth, as president of Russia. A landslide victory is expected. Let's get you the flavor from polling stations and ground reports from Russia before we decode the trends and analyze the implications of another term for Mr. Putin. Polling began in the far east region of Chukotka and Kamchatka at 8 p.m. GMT on Saturday. Polling is expected to end today at 6 p.m. GMT owing to the wide time difference between the two ends of the world's largest nation. In fact, it's going to last 22 hours and it will span 11 time zones. That's how big Russia is. The Russian Election Commission claims that the turnout will be higher than that in 2012. Some reports saying 5-0, that is. We're waiting for the latest numbers. Listen in.
Хорошо, коллеги, явка на 2 часа сегодняшнего дня. По России то, что мне дали сейчас, 34,72%. Хочу отметить, что эта явка вновь показывает, что по большинству регионов она существенно выше того, что было на 2012 год.
Not everyone is convinced. Independent observers monitoring online streaming of the polling process have shared links of footage showing ballot stuffing and an unfair practice where one person submits multiple ballots. Opposition observers claim that the figures being projected by the Election Commission are not true.
И мы видим, что в некоторых субъектах федерации, по крайней мере, там, где уже закончились выборы, так называемые выборы, по данным наших наблюдателей, явка ниже, чем была в 2012 году, даже с учетом всего того давления, которое...
President Putin turned up at a polling station in Moscow at 8 a.m. local time to cast his ballot. On being questioned what would be a winning margin for him, this is what the not-so-modest leader had to say.
Любовь, что дает право исполнять должность президента. Я уверен в правильности той программы, которую предлагают наши президенты.
His confidence seems to have gotten the better of his rivals too. Ksenia Sobchak, a socialite turned opposition figure, seems to have conceded defeat already.
Считаю, что мы должны все голосовать за единого оппозиционного кандидата. Это единственный шанс на перемену. То, сколько процентов получит Путин на этих выборах, напрямую зависит от того, сколько оппозиционно настроенных граждан придет на голосование. Вы должны это понимать, это математика. Чем больше нас придет, тем меньше будет процент у Путина.
Unlike most other national elections, Russian polls were not just plain domestic affairs. While residents of Crimea voted in the polls for the first time after the peninsula was annexed by Russia from Ukraine, Kiev tried its level best to avert any showdown on election day. Ukraine's authorities dispatched National Guard and police on outside Russian diplomatic missions in Kiev to prevent Russian citizens from voting in this presidential election.
Жодного росіянина, жодного ворога України ми не запустимо і російському ворожим виборам на території України на місці. Слава нації!
President Vladimir Putin has dominated the Russian political landscape for close to 2 decades now, and today's elections are all set to give him another term, which will end in 2024, after which he's constitutionally bound to step down unless he plans to pull off a Xi Jinping, change the constitution, become president for life. So the result for now may be a foregone conclusion, and the 7 other contenders may not even be remembered as also rans, but we decided to introduce you to them anyway. After all, they took on Vladimir Putin for whatever it was worth. My colleague Aisha Sindhu gets you the lowdown.
Right, so there are 8 candidates in the Russian presidential elections this time around. We're going to take you through each of those names now. Let's start first with the first candidate, that is Sergei Baburin. He is 59 years old and from the Russian All People's Union. In the past, of course, he has been a federal lawmaker and a lawmaker in the State Duma, which is the lower house of Russia's legislature. He's held that position for a number of years. He's also been the leader of his party, that's the Russian All People's Union, from 2011 to now, the current year, that's 2018. The second candidate in the fray is Pavel Grudinin. He is from the Communist Party. He's 57. He's been a provincial lawmaker in the legislature of Moscow between 1997 and 2011. Vladimir Zhirinovsky, 71 years old. He's been a liberal, part of the Liberal Democratic Party and a federal lawmaker in the State Duma from 1993 till the current date. So another Vladimir in the fray. He's also been a leader of his party from 1991 to 2018. The other Vladimir needs no introduction at all. Mr. Putin has been in power for a long time, 2000 to 2008, 2012 to present. He is, of course, trying for a fourth term. He's also been the Prime Minister of the country, interestingly, at the turn of the millennium, and then again between 2008 and 2012 when his protege Dmitry Medvedev was the president. He has been the leader of the United Russia Party, but interestingly, he started as an independent this time around. He's also been the director of the Federal Security Service from 1998 to 1999. The other woman, or the only woman I should say, in the fray is Ksenia Sobchak. She is from the Civic Initiative Party. She is just 36 years old. She's a television anchor and journalist. She's the first woman candidate in 14 years, interestingly, and the youngest one since 2004. The other interesting factor about Ms. Sobchak is she's the daughter of Anatoly Sobchak. Now, Anatoly himself was the first democratically elected mayor of St. Petersburg. So she does have a past in politics. In fact, he mentored Vladimir Putin back in the 1990s. So that is a little bit about Ksenia Sobchak. In 1991, in fact, her father helped launch Mr. Putin's career in politics, of all the things. Now, Anatoly also taught law to Putin and Dmitry Medvedev at the Leningrad State University. So that's a little bit about Ksenia Sobchak. Maxim Suryakin is the other young candidate in the fray. He's 39 from the Communist of Russia party. He's the chairman of the Central Committee of the Communists of Russia. He's held that position from 2012 till date. The other man in the fray is Boris Titov. He's from the Party of Growth. He's 57. He's a leader of the Party of Growth from 2016 till the current date. He's also been Presidential Commissioner for Entrepreneurs' Rights in Russia. Grigor Yavlinsky from the Yabloko party. He is 65 years old, as is the current president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. He's been the chairman of his party. He's also been a federal lawmaker in the State Duma all the way from 1993 to 2003. He is one of those 8 contenders trying to dislodge President Putin. He's also been a provincial lawmaker in the legislature of St. Petersburg for 7 years, from 2011, or pardon me, for 5 years till 2016. So that's a look at some of the candidates who are in the fray this time around, who are trying to give President Putin a run for his money. The question, though, is will they be able to? It is a foregone conclusion for many that Mr. Putin is going to win. We'll have to wait and watch as far as the results go. And the key factor, of course, is going to be voter turnout.